Hello and welcome to Music Ranking. In today's video we're going to be talking about Eminem's entire discography. Starting off with his first project, Infinite. On this album he shows he has the skill but lacks the edge he'll soon gain later in the years. It's not a bad project by any means, but comparing it to his later stuff it doesn't hold as well, so ranking wise it's at number 10. Favourites on this album are Open Mic, Infinite and Backstabber. Next is Slim Shady LP, which shows us Eminem's alias Slim Shady, who's wacky, dark and very provocative from time to time. A great project introducing us to Eminem in the greatest ways with rhyme schemes and storytelling abilities. Ranking wise is at number 7. Favourite tracks on this album are Just Don't Give a Fuck, Brain Damage and As the World Turns. Next is Marshal Mathers LP, which took Eminem from a known rapper to the biggest selling rapper in the world and brought all sorts of controversy his way, good or bad. The album has some of the best writing of his to this day and has lyrics no other artist could get away with saying nowadays in a public forum. Ranking wise is at number 5. Favourite tracks are Stan, The Way I Am and I'm Back. Next is The Eminem Show, which is an astounding album and has some of the best beats Eminem ever made. Nearly every track on this album is amazing and the lyrics get better on each track, and an album with so much substance and personal details being placed on every track. Ranking wise it's at number 1 for me. Favourite tracks are White America, Say Goodbye Hollywood and Square Dance. Next is Encore, which after a great 3-album run, it's such a shame to see Eminem fumble on the 4th, as we get bad songs such as My First Single and Big Weenie, but songs that feel like Eminem isn't really trying, such as Evil Deeds, which has 2 terrible verses but a great 3rd verse. The album has its redeemable songs, but not enough to make this album seen as great. Ranking wise it's at number 11. Favourites are Yellow Brick Road, Like Toy Soldiers and One Shot Two Shot featuring D12. Next is Eminem's Relapse, which quite frankly is a different style and subject matter from what we got less than 6 years ago, and it's almost a reinvention of Eminem / Slim Shady. The album had Dr. Dre creating these new and different beats, each sounding great, and Eminem experimenting with accents which at times do stick out, but adds to the song as well. Honestly, it's a great album which sadly got panned at the time. Ranking wise, it's at number 3 for me. Favourite tracks are Deja Vu, Underground and My Darling. Next is Recovery, which sees Eminem going back to his roots and adapting to the current sound of rap, but also gives us an insight into his life during his hiatus, but also flexing his rap skills over everyone. It also contains some pop type songs which got him a lot of success, but personally I wasn't getting much enjoyment out of those particular songs. But ranking wise it's at number 8. Not to say that this album is bad, but it's more comparing it to others it doesn't rank highly. Favourites on this album are Cold Wind Blows, Cinderella Man and Almost Famous. Next is Marshal Mathers LP2, which really showed why Eminem is still considered a GOAT by a lot of people. This album had it all. Lyrics? Check. Radio friendly songs? Check. Songs for the ladies? Check. Reflection on his life? Check. Great beats? Check. This sequel was just as good as the first and, in my opinion, better, as I rank it at number 2. My favourite tracks are Bad Guy, Legacy and Evil Twin. Next is Revival, the album that took fans and made them look at Eminem different. Honestly, this album gets a lot of hate and some of it was unnecessary, as it wasn't horrible like Encore. I felt it wasn't Eminem who was bad, it was anything but him. Too many pop features, too many love songs, certain beats weren't produced well or just weren't that good, but otherwise the album was a semi-decent project. He was more political, which Eminem hasn't been in quite some time, and he had 2 of the best storytelling songs on this album, which can be put in the same category and list next to Stan. Ranking wise is at number 9 for me. Favourite tracks are Castle / A Rose, Framed and Offended. Next, Slim Shady viciously returns on the album Kamikaze, which is a great surprise album and it put Eminem back on top and shows he won't take any shit from anyone, whether it be critics or other rappers. It was so nice of him to go after those who were criticising him, and whilst there was a weak track every now and then, the strong ones were more than make up for it. So ranking wise I give it to number 6. Favourites are The Ringer, Greatest and Not Alike. Next is Music to Be Murdered By, Side A and Side B. Now, both sides were a surprise drop, and while Side A was nice, I felt like the anger from Kamikaze was still lingering with Eminem, and whilst it was enjoyable, I felt like the anger wasn't as justified as it was on Kamikaze. But Side B felt like Eminem is comfortable in where he's at and is rapping what he wants to rap, and it was nice to hear the humour coming back, as it felt like it was missing ever since Revival. Ranking wise, for both these projects, I put it at number 4. My favourites on Side A are You Gon Learn featuring Royce da 5'9", Darkness and I Will featuring Royce da 5'9", King Crooked and Joel Ortiz. Side B, my favourites are Nat, Alfred's Theme and Discombobulated. Okay, that is Eminem's entire discography. Next up is J. Cole.